was coming into our church and they're black, and would they? Let's say that somebody was coming into our church and they're black, and would they be eligible for membership in our church? Yes, of course they would. They'd be eligible for membership in our church, but would they be permitted to participate in, embody, and practice what I would call black culture generally in our church? The answer is absolutely not. Why? Because the characteristics that mark black culture as a generalization, in the same way Paul's talking about Cretans on Crete, they are evil, murderous, violent, bestial people. They steal, they kill, they destroy. They are sinful to the core. They have besetting sins that are like fatherlessness, sexual immorality. They molest children at a high rate. All of any criminal statistic that you could look at, almost pretty much without exception, they excel at that.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name of the one true God, and Yahweh Shai is the name of His only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. And I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. All right, so that was a pastor that was speaking on black culture, saying that basically he tried to describe black people as like he wanted to single out just black people and say that they're the most wicked, they're the most evil. Basically, he tried to say that there's no other race worse than them. That's how he was painting it, but he tried to gloss it over with religion. You know what I mean? Credit to what he's saying, he's not all wrong. Jake is wicked as hell, and you should not be accepting that type of culture, like this black culture, this hip-hop culture, which is destroying the minds of the youth and for anybody. All right, this shit touches everybody. This is the most popular culture in North America. Everybody want to be a nigga. Like the brother Yuana would say. It's profitable to be a nigga. All right, to be ignorant, to be to lack education, to lack true compassion and just common sense. Niggas throw their whole life away over like a 3-second decision. Niggas will murder you just because they felt like it, just because they got upset. They'll kill you in broad daylight. Nigga get mad, it's over. And so niggas are wicked. But to single out Jake and then lie, saying that basically every crime statistically they lead in those statistics, when what Jake does, they are just really violent. Like, niggas is just violent, and they made a culture out of it. They have a soundtrack for their behavior. All day, all on the radio, all you hear is what a nigga do to another nigga, and how big a gun another nigga got for another nigga. It's always like what I'll do to you. But Esau, the heathen, they lead in all statistics of crimes that are predatorial. Child pornography, rape, bestiality, you know what I mean? Like anything, child porn, all this other shit, man, all this weird shit. They lead in that, you know what I mean? kidnapping, anything that's predatory, anything to prey on the weak, and or just to ambush you. That's what they lead in, and they won't point the finger at them. Like Jake recently just started, I guess you could say, picking up the pace in these statistics on how violent they are, and these devils want to highlight it. Like, oh, well, here, look, it says that they're the most violent, they're the most wicked, and we got to do something about it. You know what I mean? When these damn beast, wicked ass people from the nation of Edom have been murdering, they have been pillaging, they have been raping, ravishing, stealing, and taking over and manipulating, lying for centuries, man. They have conquered lands and named themselves after themselves. And not just conquered, as in they fought for it, or that they landed and they declared war and they won it. No, they manipulated, they lied, they signed treaties, they made agreements, then broke them. Over 300 to the Native Americans, they broke them. Tried to starve out the Native Americans by killing thousands and thousands of buffalo. And to rip babies out of the stomachs of pregnant women, for them to be feeding our children to alligators as bait so they can catch gators. Like, to give chicken pox or smallpox in blankets, dress them as gifts, and to just to plague a group of people, to make them weak. Like, this just, listen, man, there's nobody that's going to ever have a body count or a death count like the nation of Edom. And they're still killing. But you want to bring up statistics now that Jake done fucked around and ran up the number? Now all of a sudden you want to point the finger? It's crazy. But that's how Esau is.
The actual number of blacks who are committing murder is more than whites. And whites are significantly greater.
60% compared to 13%
Percentage of the population, yeah.
So if you take that, and then you took a law like Deuteronomy 21, which is a just law that God enacted through Moses. The law was that if you had a rebellious son, you have a child they're coming up into their manhood,
the actual number,
and they're rebellious, they don't listen. He lists some characteristics, and even though they're disciplined, they will not turn. He says the fathers to bring them out into the town square. This is a rebellious son, and then they stone him to death. They kill him.
And an armed robber would certainly be one of those.
Oh, absolutely. Armed robber, all the ghetto culture.
Violent crime.
Basically, take ghetto culture, it would describe this to a T. And they're rebellious, they don't listen. He lists some characteristics.
Now, granted, he's not totally wrong there. I agree. All this black culture shit, I would love to eliminate that off the earth. All this nigga shit, man. He's right. And how you prevent this nigga culture, this so-called black culture, is that you gotta stop it. You gotta stop the music. You gotta stop promoting it. And anybody that's doing it is preaching rebelliousness, because all these niggas listen to is music about adultery, murder, any type of mischief, where it be about robbing someone, which is coveting, which is stealing, which is breaking the commandments. Anything that promotes breaking the commandments in some type of instrumental or song has to be eliminated. And the reason why you would stone the child is because he will influence another child. And then that child will influence another. And then it will influence another. Next thing you know, you got a group. Next thing you know, you got a gang. Next thing you know, it just... It continues, you know? So, I agree with him with that. But you not going to single out Jake like Jake is the most wicked. You definitely not going to do that. Because y'all are the ones that are the most evil on the earth. The Lord created y'all to be crooked. And now y'all want to say, oh, Jake is, you know, these blacks are just the worst of the worst. Nobody's worse than y'all. How the hell did these blacks that you claim you want to stone, how the hell did they even get here? The transatlantic slave trade is how they got here. So let's just read the commandment, right? Exodus 20:15, it says, thou shalt not steal. So there you go. There goes a commandment right there. Verse 17, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Didn't y'all covet lands? Didn't y'all do that? And then when you got the land, what happened? Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. You ravished these men's wives. You took them as concubines. All right. What did what's his name? He conquered Mexico. Cortez. When Cortez conquered Mexico, what did he do? He took one of the indigenous women and made her his wife. And then they had a child, which was basically the first Mexican. Right? You coveted another man's wife, another man's property. Right? When you go to these lands and you rape these women, who do you think they belong to? You stole people, man. You stole lands. Right? Nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. And that's what you did. You coveted what another man had. All right? And you took it. Psalms 49:11. It says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. So when they get these lands, after they steal them, what do? They call it after their own names. All right? But like that devil said, he was talking about black culture. He's not completely wrong. You want to eliminate that shit. That shit is wicked. But him coming out talking about now you want to establish some type of order on stoning black people so you can like as if you truly care, like to really like bring some type of change and order to the world. You mentioned Jake like Jake is the main solution problem. Nigga, it's people that lead in different statistics, which I brought up, all right, which I mentioned, which in that video showed all those damn nation of Edom, them damn heathens, and all the predatorial stats that they lead in. You ain't mention that? Hell no, because you got an agenda. They want to they really are trying to dress up different ways to say that they want to come after Jake. Because they have a perpetual hatred towards us. All right, this is Habakkuk 2:5. It says, yeah, also, because he transgresses by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth upon all people. All right. And this is what these damn devils do, man. All right. They can't stay at home. They're always in somebody else's land. All right. They're the border of wickedness. The scriptures talk about them being the border of wickedness, the nation of Edom being the border of wickedness. It means border of wickedness means that everywhere they go, it's evil. It's wicked. But they try to dress it up like our nation is that, when really it's them. They are the plague. People don't even want them in their land, man. Go to these different lands. They hate America because of what they've done to their country. They sing songs about it. They celebrate it. All right? They hate it here. All right? Because these people are everywhere. All right? And all they know is to be evil. Proverbs 4:17. It says, for they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they have caused some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. That's what these people are. That's what they do. They're wicked. All they do is eat, sleep, and shit evil. But that's okay, because he's talking about he want to bring the scriptures out for justice. Well, justice is going to be served. Believe me. All right. You want to talk about stoning people who take part in black culture. Hey, that's cool. We want to get that shit out the way also. But to single out Jake, like Jake is just the primary reason why the world is the way it is. Like Jake is just the ultimate issue when, no, it's your nation. It's the ultimate issue. And the Lord agrees with that. That's why this is going to happen. Revelations 13:10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with a sword must be killed with a sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. You are the one to put our people in captivity. You're the reason why we're here in this land anyway. So as far as like us serving under your, your flag, your constitution, you had to establish that some way through slavery, right? Through a civil war where one part wanted to keep slavery and the other one didn't, because they wanted to go into the Industrial Revolution. Shit didn't end because they wanted to just end slavery. They just had another way of for everybody to participate in some form of bondage. Everybody got a Social Security right now. Everybody paying taxes. But that's for another lesson. But yeah, you leave in captivity, you're going to go into captivity. All praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai.